So we'll move on to the vocals now, and I just want to give you a quick rundown of how it's all kind of structured. It's very simple. There's just 2 verses, a little bit of an intro to both verses here and here. But basically, I've got a bus here for Squeegie O's verse, who's the first MC on the track. And then I've got another stack or bus here for Inspectah Deck's verse. And then I've got a few sends down here, like a slap delay, a quarter note delay, and some reverbs. And then all of these vocals, or all of the vocal buses, output into this all Vox bus, where I'm doing a couple of extra things as well, but we'll get to that later. So the first verse is Squeegie O. And let me show you how that sounds before I did anything, and then we'll go through what I did to mix it.
Keep the ideals spill for the real. Yellow is the color of caution. Splash with the black when I walk in. You wanna be copies of me? My buddy, the original man. You rent your style like it's Blockbuster. What's that?
So first in the chain here is the Clarity VXD reverb plugin. I don't want to use this too heavily, but there was a little bit of kind of room noise going on with this vocal, and this is a really good tool in just cleaning that up and reducing that. So let me show you the before and after, and maybe only if you're wearing headphones or if you're in a really good room will you be able to hear what this is doing. But hopefully it's just removing that little bit of kind of room reflections that are going on the recording here.
I walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state. Moving a different type of pounds away. You faking jacks trying to slide the 8th. Get split from the neck, disrespecting the legends. Out of rebel in effect with the guard deck inspect.
So as I say, very subtle, but it is making a difference. After that, we're just rolling off the super lows down here with Pro Q3. Not really changing the sound of the vocal at all. And we've got the first de-esser, which is the Waves de-esser. I don't think this is doing too much on this vocal. It wasn't much need for any heavy de-essing on this one.
I walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state. Moving a different type of pounds away. You faking jacks trying to slide the 8th.
Yeah, just catching some little bits, but really not doing too much. Then this is the first compressor in the chain. I think this is going to bring the level up quite a bit, but hopefully you can hear that it's just making things much more consistent and really making the vocal pop out in the mix a lot more.
The spot rusher with not a dime to waste. I walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state. Moving a different type of pounds away. You faking jacks trying to slide the 8th. Get split from the neck, disrespecting the legends. Out of rebel in effect with the guard deck inspecting your sect.
As you can see, it's not doing a huge amount of reduction, you know, sort of down here, maybe -5. But there is another compressor later in the chain. That's all that I did on the actual track here. But as you can see, I've done more processing on the bus, which is generally how I like to mix. So sort of all of the things within the bus will go out to this main verse bus. And then on there, we do more processing. So I'm using this virtual mix rack with the EQ, the 116 compressor, and the Revival plugin too. And I'll show you what each one's doing. First one, not doing a whole lot, just a little bit of high-end EQ up here, really.
The spot rusher with not a dime to waste. I walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state. Moving a different type of pounds away. You faking jacks trying to slide the 8th. Get split from the neck, disrespecting.
Then we're using another compressor here, which is the FG116.
The spot rusher with not a dime to waste. I walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state. Moving a different type of pounds away. You faking jacks trying to slide the 8th. Get split from the neck, disrespecting the legends. Out of rebel in effect with the guard deck inspecting your sect.
Yeah, so you just hear how that's making the vocal much more consistent and level and just kind of bringing it all in together. And then we use the Revival just to add a little bit of shimmer and thickness. Nothing major going on here.
Sublet, teaching the course with the Whiskeyman running the balls. From the jungle, man, it's hard, but blessed to the laws. The bronze stain embedded in drawers. I be the don't gotta like the scrolls that I've written, so eat a dead.
Then we've got another de-esser here, which is the E2 de-esser. And again, on this vocal, there wasn't need for any kind of heavy de-essing, so this is only doing minor things.
Walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state. Moving a different type of pounds away. You faking jacks trying to slide the 8th. Get split from the neck, disrespecting the legends. Get split from the neck, disrespecting.
So you hear just on that word split, how it's just controlling that a little bit, taming it. And I like to do things like this, so I like to generally kind of de-ess before my first compressor, which I showed you over here with that Waves de-esser. Then compress, compress again with a different kind of sounding compressor. You know, in here we were boosting the high end with the revival and this EQ here. And then after that, I like to do another de-essing, and both of these are light, so don't go crazy on this. You know, it's not doing heavy de-essing twice. It's just doing kind of light de-essing at different stages within the chain. And then after that, I'm using the Pro MB, and this is just kind of adding a little bit of high end, a little bit of high mids here or mids here, but also taming them a little bit. So if they go above a certain point, a certain threshold, it will be compressed too. Same with the low end down here. If it goes above this point, it will just be pulled down that little bit, just controlling it.
This spot rusher with not a dime to waste. I walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state, moving a different type of pounds of weight.
Yeah, so you see how it's not doing a lot of compression, but it's slightly taming in these three areas if they go above a certain point. Now, in terms of reverbs and delays on this vocal and all the vocals in this track for that matter, I first used a slap delay. So let me show you how that sounds.
Peep the ideal, spill from the real. Yellow is the color of caution. Splash with the black when I walk in. Wanna be copies of me.
And here's my slap bus down here. First of all, I'm taking out all the high end and all the low end before it even goes into the delay. And then we're using the repeater. This is in the slate bundle. And I'm using this CLA-ish tape slap preset, but then I've also modified it myself too. And then after that, it's being compressed as well.
Me, my buddy, the original man. You renting style like it's Blockbuster. Bust down your shit, this spot rusher with not a dime to waste. I walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like
I think that kind of delay really suits this style of track, so I went with that. I also went with a quarter note delay, so I'll turn that on here.
designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state, moving a different type of pounds of weight. You faking jacks trying to slide the eighth, get split from the neck.
Hopefully you can hear what that's doing there. Again, before the delay, I'm EQing into it, taking out some high end and filtering out the lows too. And then I'm sidechaining the main vocals from the track into this delay so that when the vocal's playing, it's actually compressing the delay, so it's not kind of poking up and trying to compete with the main vocal. It's only kind of coming up where there's little gaps in the vocal.
This spot rusher with not a dime to waste. I walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state, moving a different type of pounds of weight. You faking jacks trying to
So it just helps, like I say, to kind of make space for the vocal and not be competing with the vocal. At the end of the chain, in this quarter note delay bus, there is a Valhalla plate reverb plugin, which is just kind of helping to smooth out the tail of that delay. Just making it sit more in the background.
taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state, moving a different type of pounds of weight. You faking jacks trying to slide the eighth.
I am also adding a slight reverb to these vocals, but it is quite small and quite short, a reverb. Let me mute the other sends on there and just play you this main reverb.
Spot rusher with not a dime to waste. I walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state, moving a different type of pounds of weight. You faking jacks trying to slide the eighth.
So again, it's just slightly there. It's kind of adding some more like a room ambience or like a studio ambience. And for that, I used this preset here in the Verb Suites Classic from Slate. It's a really short decay time. And then there's some EQ on the end of there too. So all together with the beat, this is how the main vocal sounds.
Peep the ideal, spill from the real. Yellow is the color of caution. Splash with the black when I walk in. Wanna be copies of me. My buddy, the original man. You renting style like it's Blockbuster. Bust down your shit, this spot rusher with not a dime to waste. I walk through mud without designer taste. Out for my dollar like I grind the state, moving a different type of pounds of weight.
Now, the only other thing to mention with this verse is that it does have a BVs track, and it's just basically doubles on certain parts of the verse.
And you renting style like it's Blockbuster. Bust down your shit, this spot rusher with not a dime. Out for my dollar like I grind the state.
And on that track, it's pretty much exactly the same as the main vocal. I think the only thing I did, I like to dip down the high end on BVs like this so that I'm not getting any kind of sibilance. And I also want them to sit a little bit further back in the mix. So dip in a little bit of the high end here just to take out any kind of things that are going to interfere with the main vocal. Other than that, it will be treated very much the same, just being compressed and de-essed. And then at the end of the chain on this BVs, I've added this real ADT plugin from Waves, and it's on the complete default setting. So as soon as you open this plugin, I've left it on the default. And what this does is basically creates a fake double. So it basically duplicates the track and pans it left and right, but adds some kind of variance in the speed to create a nice double. And I think this really works on this track. It adds a little bit of messiness that I wanted and a little bit of kind of oomph on these words that I said. So hopefully you can see what I mean. Let me play you this with and without.
I the rebel in effect. Deck Inspectah your set. I the rebel in effect. Deck Inspectah your set.
Yeah, so it basically doubles them and creates like a fake stereo. But I think it really works with the main vocal just to add some oomph to those parts and also to kind of add a little bit of messiness, because we don't want this track to be clean. We want it to be dirty. We want it to be shouty. We want it to be kind of in your face at certain times. So here's the verse with those in.
The legends, I the rebel in effect with the guard deck, Inspectah your set, your style suspect, don't know shit, nigga, your sublet, teaching the cause.
Okay, so we'll move on now to Inspectah Deck's verse, and big love and respect again to the producer of this track, Whiskeyman, who's the one who sent me the track for mixing, and being able to work on a legend's vocals like Inspectah Deck is a big honor. As I say, I grew up listening to the Wu. I grew up listening to this sound of this style of rap and this style of hip hop. So always a big honor to get vocals and to be able to work on vocals that are from such a legend as Inspectah Deck. So anyway, with that aside, this is how we worked with them. And it's very similar, to be honest, with to the first verse. No big differences. Obviously, every voice is different, and these were also not recorded in the same place. So I have done a couple of things to try and match the vocals the best I can. And that's something you're always going to have to do when two vocals are recorded in completely different places. You know, it's a case of trying to get the raw. What I try and do is get the raw vocal before I compress, EQ and all that. I try and get the bass of the vocal to sound similar to the other vocal before I even start. So with this vocal, I noticed that it was lacking a lot of kind of high end. There wasn't much air on the vocal compared to the first verse. So if I play you this raw, you might see what I mean.
It's like World War IV in the field, daily ordeal. Wolf pack, dig claws in your meal. Ducking blue coats, tossing the steel. It's all real.
So compared to the first verse, it was lacking, like I say, some air, some kind of energy in the upper mids and in the highs. So again, first in the chain, I used Pro Q3, dipped out a little bit of some muddiness here, and also high pass filter just to take out any rumble. But then I use this plugin by Waves, which is Vitamin. And this is a great kind of harmonic exciter, enhancer type plugin, which I use sometimes to just bring out some air and some nice high mids and some nice high end on any sound really, but particularly on vocals. I like this, so I'll show you what this is doing.
It's like World War IV in the field, daily ordeal. Wolf pack, dig claws in your meal. Ducking blue coats, tossing the steel. It's all real. My lifetime of crime, I never talk to squeal. And I move with the coldest around, and I'll be holding my ground. I'ma hold it till I'm thrown in the ground. So
quite subtle, but if you play around with this plugin, again, links are in the description for all the Waves plugins that I use in this video. You'll see that you can add some real nice high end. So let me just exaggerate this and show you. Let me copy this.
I'm known to carry 6 new jacks in the city, get burned like Larry Fish, Daddy Rich, bit magnet. I hand you a fix, spit bricks on the mixer.
Yeah, so you see what this plugin can do, but I didn't want to use it in a heavy-handed way on this particular track. Then obviously, again, we're using de-essing to just tame the S's on this verse.
And I move with the coldest around, and I'll be holding my ground. I'ma hold it till I'm thrown in the ground, so I'm blowing rounds. I'm known to carry 6.
Then we've got the main compressor on this vocal, which is R-Comp again. Show you before and after with this.
Carry grips on the regular, Berettas and fifths. Jumping out different whips, watch your neck and your wrist. No question, I'll be repping my clique. Specialists from the youngins to OGs checking for this. Play hard on the graveyard shift, cigar split, spark quick.
Yeah, so you see how that's just really bringing the dynamics in line, really bringing up the low parts and making the vocal much more consistent and level. Again, similar to the previous verse, a little bit of EQ going on here with the FGN, compression, and then the revival. So first of all, I'll show you what the EQ is doing.
Daily ordeal. Wolfpack dig claws in your meal. Ducking blue coats, tossing the steel. It's all real. My lifetime of crime, I never talk to squeal. In a move with the coat.
Pretty minor effect, but just adding a little bit of sort of high-end gloss on there. And then the next compressor again, which is the FG116 by Slate. And we'll show you what that's doing.
From the youngins to OGs checking for this. Play hard on the graveyard shift. Cigar split, spark quick. When the shit jump off you heartless. I'm from SINY, Killer Hill, 10304, home to gorillas in the field.
Yeah, so just really taming, bringing it in line. Same with the other compressor, but it's just another sound, another vibe to kind of add to the overall chain, which I always like to use. And then Revival, we'll be adding some nice high end and a little bit of sort of thickness to the vocal too.
And I move with the coldest around, and I'll be holding my ground. I'ma hold it till I'm thrown in the ground, so I'm blowing rounds. I'm known to carry 6 new jacks in the city, get burned like Larry Fish, Daddy Rich, bitch magnet. I hand you a fix.
Again, similar to the last vocal, we're de-essing. We are de-essing a little bit more on this vocal. The S's were standing out more than on the first verse, and this is why you can't just copy and paste. You know, you have to listen, use your ears, and assess how much de-essing does this vocal need, and adjust the taste really.
Ground, I'ma hold it till I'm thrown in the ground, so I'm blowing rounds. I'm known to carry 6 new jacks in the city, get burned like Larry Fish, Daddy Rich, bitch magnet. I hand you a fix. Spit bricks on the mix and make the avenue flip. Carry grips on the regular, Berettas and fifths. Jumping out different whips, watch your neck and your wrist.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear just how much that is really helping with taming the S's on that vocal. And then again, the Pro MB by Fab Filter, just boosting a little bit of the mids and the highs and catching any kind of overs that go over this point in the low end and the low mids.
In my clique, specialists from the youngins to OGs checking for this. Play hard on the graveyard shift, cigar split, spark quick. When the shit jump off you heartless. I'm from SINY, Killer Hill, 10304, home to gorillas in the field.
And then the same sends that I used on the first verse, we've got the slap, the quarter note delay, and the reverb. So I'll show you how it sounds with all those on and with the beat too.
It's like World War IV in the field, daily ordeal. Wolfpack dig claws in your meal. Ducking blue coats, tossing the steel. It's all real. My lifetime of crime, I never talk to squeal. And I move with the coldest around, and I'll be holding my ground. I'ma hold it till I'm thrown in the ground.
And then we have Inspectah Deck's BVs here. Same technique as I showed you on the other vocal. Really bringing down the super highs and some of the upper mids on the BVs, just so they sit further back in the background, so they're not competing too much with the main vocal. I don't want to hear, you know, loud S's or really any great presence in these BVs. I want them to sit further back, so always just EQ a little bit out of there on my BVs, and then again treating it pretty much the same in terms of de-essing and compressing as the main vocal, and then I've added the real ADT to create that fake double. So let me play you in solo this verse, and then we'll play it with the beat, with the BVs in.
Dig claws in your meal, ducking blue coats, tossing the steel. It's all real. My lifetime of crime, I never talk to squeal. And I move with the coldest around, and I'll be holding my ground. I'ma hold it till I'm thrown in the ground, so I'm blowing rounds. I'm known to carry 6 new jacks in the city, get burned like Larry Fish, Daddy Rich, bitch magnet. I hand you a fix. Spit bricks on the mix and make the avenue flip. Carry grips on the regular, Berettas and fish. Jumping out different whips, watch your neck and your wrist. No question, I'll be repping my clique. Specialists from the youngins to OGs checking for this.
The only other thing to show is there's this little intro here where I've kind of filtered his voice.
Straight nastiness. I'm a beast.
Yeah, so all I've done differently with that is on the end of the chain, which is the same chain as the main vocal, I've just added this EQ to kind of create, it's not really a radio effect, it's just to kind of filter out all the high end and a little bit of the low end, just to create that kind of more gritty sound for the intro.
Straight nastiness.
And then I've added a delay to that as well.
Straight nastiness. I'm a beast.
And for that I've used H delay, as you can see, with the ping pong setting on, 8th note, filtered out some highs and lows there, But then I've also, on the end of that, after that, sorry, I've used this Lo-Fi Oddity plugin, which I love. And that's just really dirtying it up and kind of adding some crazy kind of sound. So I'll play you before and after with this Oddity effect on and off.
Straight nastiness. I'm a beast. Straight nastiness. I'm a beast.
Yeah, so it's adding some tape noise, it's adding some compression, but it's also adding some kind of weird kind of reverb effects going on as well there.
Straight nastiness. Straight nastiness. I'm a beast.
I've also used a really similar delay effect for the end of his verse too.
Killer, killer, hell, 10304, home to gorillas in the field.
So again, using the H delay with the same settings and this Lo-Fi Oddity plugin with similar settings too. Oh yeah, quick note on how I like to do my delay throws. So sometimes people use buses or auxes to create delay throws, but for me, what I do is basically duplicate the track, cut out the word that I want to put the delay throw on, copy it down to that track. Most of the time I drag it up like how I've done here. So that's basically what this track is. I've just dragged that up to here, put a fade in and a fade out on it, and then added on top of the normal chain that I had. So remember, I duplicated this track to create this track. So you'll see these first 4 plugins are the same on this track, but then on the end of that, I've used the H delay and a Lo-Fi Oddity and whatever else you want to put on your delay. That's how I like to do delay throws. I know people do them differently. There's no real right or wrong way. I personally like to have tracks like that, and then I can try things out. Like I can cut this bit, I can drag that up, see how it sounds delayed. For example, or I can cut this word here, drag it up. Actually sounds pretty good. Maybe I should have used that. So one more thing to mention on the vocals, and that is, as I said at the start of this section, all of these vocals eventually end up down here on my All Vox bus. And all I've got on there is a Fresh Air plugin, which is just adding some kind of sheen to the high mids and the highs.
Back dig, claws in your meal. Ducking blue coats, tossing the steel. It's all real. My lifetime of crime, I never talk to squeal. And I move with the coldest around. And I'll be holding my ground. I'ma hold it till I'm thrown in the ground. So I'm blowing round.
This is a great plugin that I use for just brightening things up. If I feel like the vocals overall haven't got enough sort of high-end saturation and sheen on them or air, I pull this up and just add a little bit and dial it in how you like. And this is actually a free plugin, so make sure you get this if you haven't got it. And then after that, we've got the Slate Virtual Tape Machine, which again, just adding more kind of analog goodness to the song overall. It's not doing a huge amount, but it just adds that tape sound to the vocals overall.
Holding my ground, I'ma hold it till I'm thrown in the ground. So I'm blowing round. I'm known to carry 6 new jacks in the city, get burned like Larry Fish. Daddy Rich, spit magnet, I hand you a fist. Spit bricks on the mix to make the avenue flip. Carry grips on the rake.
And that's how we mix the vocals on this track.